ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तावत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। ओम जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् दीने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्य किल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। समस्तदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण आचार्येभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कन्धः मुक्तिर्हित्वा अन्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ पंचविंशोऽध्यायः गुणत्रय विभाग योगः। श्री भगवानुवाच। Straight away chant the mantras. गुणानाम् असमिश्राणां पुमान् येन यथा भवेत् तन्मे पुरुषवर्येदम् उपधारय शंसतः। शमोदमस्तितिक्षेक्षा तपः सत्यं दया स्मृतिः तुष्टिस्त्यागो स्पृहा श्रद्धा ह्रीर्दयादिः स्वनिर्वृतिः काम ईहामदस्तृष्णा स्तम्भ आशीर्भिदा सुखम् मदोत्साहो यशः प्रीतिः हास्यं वीर्यं बलोद्यमः क्रोधो लोभो नृतं हिंसा याञ्चादम्भं क्लमः कलिः शोकमोहौ विषादार्ति निद्राशाभीरनुद्यमः सत्त्वस्य रजसश्चैताः तमसश्चानुपूर्वशः वृत्तयो वर्णितप्रायाः सन्निपातमथो शृणु सन्निपातस्त्वहमिति ममेत्युद्धवयामतिः व्यवहारः सन्निपातः मनोमहत्रेन्द्रियासुभिः धर्मे चार्थे च कामे च यदासौ परिनिष्ठितः गुणानां सन्निकर्षोऽयं श्रद्धारतिधनावहः प्रवृत्तिलक्षणे निष्ठा पुमान् यर्हि गृहाश्रमे स्वधर्मे चानुतिष्ठेत गुणानां समितिर्हि सा पुरुषं सत्त्वसंयुक्तम् अनुमीयात् शमादिभिः कामादिभिरजो युक्तं क्रोधाद्यैः तमसायुतं यदा भजति मां भक्त्या निरपेक्षः स्वकर्मभिः तं सत्त्वप्रकृतिं विद्यात् पुरुषं स्त्रियमेव वा यदा ह्याशिष आशास्य मां भजेत स्वकर्मभिः तवं रजः प्रकृतिं विद्यात् हिंसाम् आशास्य तामसम् सत्वं रजस्तम इति गुणा जीवस्य नैव मे चित्तजायैस्तु भूतानां सज्जमानो निबध्यते यदेतरौ जयेत् सत्वं भास्वरं विशदं शिवं तदा सुखेन युज्येत धर्मज्ञानादिभिः पुमान् यदा जयेत्तमः सत्वं रजः सङ्गं भिदाचलं तदा दुःखेन युज्येत कर्मणा यशसा श्रिया यदा जयेत् रजः सत्वं तमो मूढं लयं जडं युज्येत शोकमोहाभ्यां निद्रया हिंसयाशया यदा चित्तं प्रसीदेत चेन्द्रियाणां च निर्वृतिः देहे भयं मनो असङ्गं तत्सत्त्वं विद्धि मत्पदं विकुर्वन् क्रियया चाधीः अनिर्वृत्तिश्च चेतसां गात्रा स्वास्थ्यं मनोभ्रान्तं रज एतैर्निशामय सीदच्चित्तं विलीयेत चेतसो ग्रहणे अक्षमं मनो नष्टं तमोग्लानिः तमस्तदुपधारय एधमाने गुणे सत्त्वे देवानां बलमेधते असुराणां च रजसि तमस्युद्धवरक्षसां सत्त्वात् जागरणं विद्यात् रजसा स्वप्नमादिशेत् प्रस्वावं तमसा जन्तोः तुरीयं त्रिषु सन्ततम् उपर्युपरि गच्छन्ते सत्त्वेन ब्राह्मणा जनाः तमसाधोध आमुख्यात् रजसान्तरचारिणः सत्त्वे प्रलीनाः स्वर्यान्ति नरलोकं रजोलयाः तमोलयास्तु निरयं यान्ति मामेव निर्गुणाः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीभागवत शरणं मम श्रीसद्गुरु शरणं मम श्रीसूत शरणं मम श्रीशुकदेव शरणं मम श्रीव्यास शरणं मम श्रीनारद शरणं मम श्रीकुमार शरणं मम श्रीब्रह्मा शरणं मम श्रीविष्णु शरणं मम श्रीपरब्रह्म शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम शरणं मम शरणं मम। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। ॐ मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं स्वर्गे सत्ये च कैलासे वैकुण्ठे नास्त्ययं रसः अतः सद्भाग्याः मामामुञ्चदकरहिजद। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कन्धः मुक्तिर्हित्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः अथ पञ्चविंशोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच गुणत्रय विभागयोगः। हरि ओम। Salutations to the Lord. We have saluted all the Guru Parampara. May we always be humble and prayerful enough to please them to bless us, to be on the righteous path and the right path. When the prayers are serious, sincere and ardent, our job is done. The Lord himself will take care of such a devotee of full prayers and faith and surrender. This prayerfulness and faith and surrender have to be checked every time in ourselves, and we have to see that they are of the utmost and highest order. When that is done by us, the rest is taken care. In this 25th chapter of 11th skandha of Bhagavat Mahapuranam, we are studying the effect of these three gunas when they are in us. So the discussion is about asamishra gunas. When exclusively each of the gunas are there, how the person's antakarana or attitude or activities or gunas are there in him, the qualities. Yesterday, day before, we saw the sattva guna. When it is predominant, what gunas that person expresses naturally. So too the rajas. And the tamas we were discussing, half of that we saw. The second half almost we have to see about how a behavior or qualities of a person was engrossed in tamoguna. Before we enter into that, just two thoughts. See, these three gunas have to be understood in three ways. First is what? These three gunas are the three Shaktis of the one Shakti of Bhagavan called as Maya. Power of Bhagavan is Maya or Prakriti. It has got three Shaktis. Now, these three Shaktis, three gunas are always in the control of that Bhagavan. He is the Ishvara of them. For him, they are required. For what? For doing all these three. What are the three? The Srishti and Sthiti Laya. With the same three gunas, Bhagavan does Srishti Sthiti Laya. But he is a master of them. Therefore, they won't bind him. So that way, the Trigunatmika Shakti of Bhagavan helping him or he is using them for Srishti Sthiti Laya. For the Srishti, Bhagavan invokes the Rajoguna of his own Maya Shakti and does the creation. And it is going on. For the Sthiti, Bhagavan uses his own Sattva Guna and keeps on doing the Sthiti Kala required all the Karya. When the pralaya has to happen in the retail form or the wholesale form, that time the Shakti used by Bhagavan is Tamoguna. The tamasic Tamoguna Shakti Bhagavan is using. Don't imagine that Bhagavan is Tamoguni that time. Therefore, when we say Brahma with Rajoguna is creating, it's not, don't imagine Brahma is a restless fellow. There, the Rajoguna is required for creation. It has become an instrument for him to do the required job. So, too, Bhagavan Vishnu is Sattvaguna he is using, doesn't mean he is a victim of that Sattvaguna. He is using that for sthiti. So, too, don't think of Bhagavan Shiva Tamoguna mein hai, ye wo khake pike, then he does dance and pralayam. Not like that. Never ever imagine. The power required for destruction that time is called Tamoguna. So this is one way of seeing the three gunas from the Ishvara standpoint, used by him, which is in his control for the sake of Srushti Sthiti Laya. When it comes to jivas, you and I, in our life also, as a human or any plant or animal, even these three gunas are so essential. Just like for the Lord they are required for Sushti Sthiti Laya, for us also these three gunas are required from the birth till death for our own normal, regular, general conducting of life. If the Sattva is not there in you and me, we won't understand anything. We will not know anything. Therefore, the Sattva to know is very much required. When you know your family members, friends, or relatives, your own profession or job, these are all the lakshanas of Sattva Guna. वो नहीं है तो काम कैसा चलेगा, बात कैसा बनेगा, नहीं बनेगा. So too, you and I need Rajaguna also. Without Rajaguna, you will not get out of the bed. You will not go to your own offices or the work and all. No work can be done by any man or animal without Rajoguna. Even the daytime, the plants, all of them are with Rajoguna doing their own activity. नहीं तो काम होता ही नहीं. So too, when we are tired of our activity, tired having done our own activities, all the faculties, gross and subtle, get so exhausted. And it's the only way by which they are again recouped, re-energized is through the nidra, which is tamoguna, which is essential. Every plant will have its tamoguna of sleep. Every animal, it may be tiger with full of its rajoguna hunting the animals, usko sona padta hai. Every bird after the chirping chip chip in the evening, that till the morning time it is in its own quiet mood of sleep. All the human beings, how much great they are. Even saints, sages, when they use their equipments to serve the world, when they get tired, to give those equipments a rest, they give the sleep to their upadhis. They themselves, as the consciousness identified, they may, whatever required, they do the blessings. There's a different category. So you and I also having tamoguna of those 6-7 hours nidra is absolutely required only. Having rajoguna to perform our kartavya duty is required only. Having the sattva guna to be aware about our duties, our identities, all is required. Therefore, the three gunas for the Paramatma are required for Sushti Sthiti Laya. Three gunas for our own Jivana Nirvahana are required. But again, in these three gunas, when the excessness happens, especially in Rajas and Tamas, when the non positive, self condemning, self harming, harming other aspects come, that aspect of these gunas, because they are harmful, they have to be changed, they have to be rectified, they have to be mastered, especially Rajas and Tamas. So that is why specifically it is explained. The Nidra aspect of Tamoguna for refreshing ourselves is required. But other than the Nidra is a physical body's Tamoguna. To the Indriyas, to the Mana, Buddhi also, there are variety of Lakshanas crop up because of non-thinking called as Tamoguna predominance. They have to be selected and eliminated. So too, the Rajaguna activity is required. But in that Rajaguna, along with helping us to be active, it brings its own some negative qualities. Again, which are dangerous, detrimental for individual and total sustenance, even also for the evolution. Those qualities have to be eliminated. Sataguna is required for dominating Rajas and Tamas and eliminating them. Satoguna is required for pursuing all our higher, nobler activities. And Sattva is the only one which helps us in gaining the spiritual knowledge with all its details and subtleties. But as we start doing the sadhanas with Sattva and reach to deeper experiences, then these gunas of the Sattva also is being given up or transcended, where we will be in a Shuddha Sattva or Gunatita Sthiti. So let us be very clear about these three aspects. Let us not intermingle them. When say the gunas are to be eliminated are Shatru, not the gunas which are required for our activity and sleep. And also don't think that means Brahma and Shiva are bad people like us because they also have Rajas and Tamas. So today we gave that clarity. Throughout life you keep it. That's why specifically told to us these are the gunas of each of the guna. Then by seeing them itself, we can understand how bad they are, how we have to overcome them. Now in this, the rajas also seen by us. Now in the tamoguna, we have seen half of it. The fourth shloka of this 25th chapter have given us the detail of this tamoguna lakshana. How many are they? You enumerate them, half of them we saw, and the remaining we to see today. Krodhaha, Lobhaha, Anrutam, Himsa, Yancha, Dambhaha, Klamaha, Kalihi, Shokaha, Mohaha, Vishadaha, Arti, Nidra, Asha, Bhihi, Anudyamaha. 16 are mainly given. Then the nearer ones like that, all of them also can be added in the out of these 16, in the first line, whatever the 8 are there, we have seen. And the last two, we were almost discussing. We have done it exhaustively. But just to remind ourselves about that, we see them. The last two gunas in the first line of this tamaguna is klamaha and kalihi. So the klamaha aspect is always feeling as if we have done huge things. Therefore, we are tired, fatigued at the body level, at the mind level, at the intellect level. That absence of sharpness, the absolute presence of non readiness. More importantly, if you ask me to say in English, non initiative. Told to think about it, he doesn't want to think. Such children know they can never study their subtler sciences where the thinking is required. They can't become scientists and all of them. उनको जो भी काम दो स्थूल वाला काम देना है दे सकते हैं. They can do, but they can't do the subtle ones. Even the worst of them is on. If that klama is there, in the Sthula Deha also, even Sthula Deha work also they don't do. Like all these laborers we see, they have klama at the intellectual level. They have klama at the mana level, but not at the physical level, that they work throughout the day, bodily. बट एट द माना बुद्धि लेवल उनको हायर आइडिया दो, सोचो, वो करना नहीं चाहते. And even some people are there who are clamor at the body level also, then they are not fit even for that work. Such people are bhoja for the world. And you and I also, we can see that day where from the morning till evening, when we are in the sthiti of the feeling of tiredness, fatigueness, exhaustion, etc., कुछ करने को मन होता ही नहीं. स्वामी जी, इसका मतलब हर दिन की बात करें आप, कुछ लोग ऐसे भी हो सकते हैं. Is when you heavily food eaten in the night and exposed to all useless program, TV are gone somewhere, some program party time, 2 बजे तक सोए नहीं, अगले दिन दिन भर that thing that we do not get out of bed, not even wanting to wash teeth or take bath, that is called a klamaha. And somehow have this habit throughout life. Is it not? Very bad it is. And to come out of that only, the early morning, it is told to get up and take bath and do all your mantrocharana vagara. Thus, those who do all this and come out of their physical, psychological, klama, even intellectual, they are said to be Brahmana. And they have to give in the higher posts, higher responsibilities. And among them also, if they lose sight of all that and they also become lazy, lethargic, then they are not fit for their own position. And instead of giving higher position to the people of Sattva-guna activeness dynamism, with the Klama Yukta people, if you give the posts, that also in the government and all, files will not move again. All your plannings cannot be implemented, strategies cannot be implemented. You can never grow as an individual or a collective group, even as a nation. There's a saying in Telugu, a beautiful. ఈసురోమని మనుషులుంటే దేశమే గతి బాగుపడను. कि अगर हर बंदा क्लम में बैठा रहता है कि मैं नहीं कर सकता हूँ, क्या करूँ मैं, then how can the country grow? The klamaha. And then, because see, I am telling all these three gunas come to us because of our choice, because of the type of food we eat, because of the kala we are in, because of the people around us, because of the atmosphere. So many things influence to make us victim of this or that guna. A person who wants to thoroughly understand the gunas and want to transcend them will have to understand all these aspects. Even the music you play at home, the agarbatti which you light, the people who are around you, the programs in the TV which you see, all of that decide what gunas you are going to develop in you. Along with your own bhojanam, your own vicharadhara, with the books which we read, everything is Trigunatmika. So, for through contacting everything, being we are nothing but adding to our own gunas, positive or negative. Positive is sattva, the other two are negative. So, keep that in mind. Now, the klamaha aspect we are. And some of the tricks are what? Just don't discuss with the body or mind. Decide the exercises, whatever you have to do, jump into that. Decide the activity and jump into that. That is the only way we can come out of the klama. One of the reason for klama, which was there 60, 70 years back, now exactly opposite is the reason for klama. Those days the klama was because of the malnutrition, because of lacking the food. जब भोजन ठीक नहीं होता तो आपको नीरस हो जाएगा. You will not have energy at all to do. So too, when you are in a bonded labor position because of these Mughals and Britishers, you are in that sadness of the tamoguna only. Now exactly opposite is happening because of the excessive food, too much food, only eating food, wrong food, that we are having the klama. I'm just telling, it's not written here, but why this klama comes to us, we have to be careful. And about all the gunas, only one thing we have to become aware of, and we have to see that we avoid them. That which causes the negative gunas, and go on involving in that which creates the positive guna. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. In fact, a human being, if he takes charge of his own life, there's no limit for his heights to achieve. Just like if he doesn't take charge of his life, he will be crushed by his own klama or tamoguna, and he'll be crushed by the entire powerful people or prakriti around. These are the by the way thoughts we have to keep in mind. So the klamaha, then the next one we saw yesterday, kalihi. These are tamoguna. The inability to forgive others or love others, inability to be selfless, inability to go through some difficulties, expresses in the form of the very terrible that kalaha aspect, the fighting aspect, the quarrel aspect, all the time in the mind, with the slightest of the opportunity, he involves into that fighting. That is called kalihi, that is the kalaha, that is tamoguna's bhayankara lakshana. Kalaha. Those people who are drunkards and all, छोटे चीज के लिए इतने गालियां देते, चिल्लाते दकते, लड़ते रहते हैं. You can see that person otherwise wise, when he's in the influence of that, what is intoxication, it's intoxicant. You can see just it creates the kalaha. By the way, तमोगुण है कलह. कली का गुण है कलह, तमोगुण है कली में, और कली में तमोगुण के कारण हर जगह कलह कलह कलह. To such an extent, as I said just now, we have forgotten the need and possibility of the beautiful thing called as the prema, the pure prema. Extreme ego and selfishness, for fulfilling that, with Rajoguna, some natak is done with the disguise of using the Sattva of helping others. Sab natak. But the moment that desire or selfishness is not fulfilled, that natak of Rajoguna, of helping and loving others, then Sattva they go away in an instant moment में कलह जाता. तुरंत that kala means anger, then fighting. Kalihi. How fast people are reacting nowadays. Some little inconvenience, something, the boss is so angry, so restless. So to the subordinates, little bit boss has said something, no patience at all, they just leave the job and try for other. And the worst thing that's happening is between the newly married couple. Not got matured or educated by the spirituality or scriptures or the gurus, such as stupid fellows. With small little issues, they become so quarrelsome that they are not able to stay together. The 60% of cases in the courts are of the divorce cases only, or the ladai jagada mainly between wife and husband. Little more of the cases are about the in-laws and outlaws. Why? Inability to have that sattva of the prema and kshama, and therefore fully involved in the tamoguna of kalaha. Arey yaar, you might have studied so much, you may be earning 40 lakh per annum. All that is money, okay, but your own life partner, wife or husband, you can't stay happily, lovingly. Then what's the use of all your this study and earning the money? कलह, गुस्से से घूर घूर करके, कितने साल हो गए बैठ के प्यार से बात करके, वो भी चला गया. So angry. In seconds they become so angry. He tells her to get something. She says, I'm busy, मैं नहीं लाऊंगी. He भी क्यों नहीं लाओगे, तो लाना ही पड़ेगा. मैं अरे राम, how much that be such because of these reasons only? Very quick in their younger age only, all the sugars, BPs, heart attacks are coming. Sugar, BP, heart attack never comes because of exhaustive works and all. No, because of these negative emotions they come. The internal frustrations and all. एंड थोड़ा योग प्राणायाम ये भी नहीं सीखते हैं, थोड़ा सा भगवत भक्ति ये सब नहीं करते हैं, Therefore, those positive, what do you call them? Energies are not there. Immunizers, immunity giving things are not there. Therefore, they're totally lost. Kali. So, klamaha is that lethargy, laziness, all the time in a sleepy mood, a little disturbed. Kalihi, ready to react and fight. कुत्तों की तरह जो कचरे के उस पे पत्थर के लिए से लड़ते हैं ना, इन दैट वे लड़ना. कलह. तमोगुण लक्षणम. Next comes शोकः. In the tamoguna, the predominant of all this shokaha, the perennial dukkha. Whether the happened issue is smaller or bigger one, we are not worried about it, but we maintain with all our efforts the looks and feelings of shoka from morning till evening, from birth till death. Take them to any laughing clubs, to any of the comedy programs, etc. He becomes a piece of comedy joker others for others because full of that shoka. Never entering into shoka is sattva. Even if it comes, work out and come out of it, it's called rajaguna. Not putting efforts, not taking help from anybody, but continuously maintaining that shoka dukkha is called absolute tamoguna. As I said yesterday, if you remember, the feeling of shoka is insult to Bhagavan, insult to the Guru Tattva, insult to our own intellect and its greatness, insult to the parents, insult to the Sabhya Samaja and government, everybody. Because shoka says that nobody is taking care of you, as if. That's what Bhagavan felt so bad when Arjuna was in Shoka Samvigna Manasaha. उनको गुस्सा है, मेरे को इसने चुना और मैं इसके साथ हूँ, इसने मांगा तो मैं ड्राइवर भी बनकर आया और ये मेरे सामने रोते हुए मेरी बेइज्जती कर रहा है. लॉर्ड कृष्णा's problem is both of them are in between both armies. No third person is there other than those चार घोड़े. And in that chariot one fellow sat down there उतर के एक जो है चला रहा है. And one is happily laughing, मतलब in a good mood, other fellow is crying. Now what will the onlookers look at? है ना, एक तो आपके दोनों बेटों में एक रो रहा है, हंस रहा है, का आप समझ जाते हैं ना कि जो हंस रहा है इसने उसको पिटाई किया. और कुछ तो किया होगा, तंग किया होगा. In the same way, Krishna thought people will think about me that I am doing something to this fellow and he is crying. He gave his पहले उत्तरीयम, पहले आंख पोछते बेवकूफ क्लैब्यम मास्मगमा क्षुद्रम हृदय दौर्बल्यम कुतस्तु आकाशपरमिदम विषमे समुपस्थितम अनादिजष्टम. That flow of those two shlokas are so fast to Lord Krishna. जल्दी पहुंच, आंख शर्म नहीं आता तेरे को, नपुंसक की तरह रो रहे तो कहां से है ये तुम्हारा वाला रोना धाना जो कभी इमेजिन ही नहीं कर सकता था मैं तुम्हारे अंदर. कुतः, कहां से आया? द ऑब्जेक्शन. द गीता स्टार्ट्स विथ ऑब्जेक्शन. हाउ डेयर यू कैन बी मेजरेबल. शोक का कारण ही नहीं होना चाहिए जिंदगी में. और तब भी तू क्षत्रिय रहकर विथ ऑल योर पावर्स एंड यू आर वेटिंग फॉर दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी. यू ओनली सॉट दिस युद्ध, यू वांट टू किल देम एंड गेट योर किंगडम, and I am there with you. By now everybody knows that I am Bhagavan. You also know, that's why only you have chosen me and I have become your charioteer. With all the good things around, still you are doing shoka. What a stupid nonsense. That means what? With all the good things around, yet if your choice is of tamoguna, you will enter into shoka. That is the other way of looking at it. The other way, third way of looking at it is the way we explain when we study Gita ki to Arjuna of highest cadre also with Lord Krishna etc. around, still he also will have problem, he also will have shoka. But how to come out of that is the genius. So that way we talk the same topic when we are in Gita. But here the same example is taken to say that by choice Arjuna entered into shoka. Bhagavan never liked it. He felt so insulting on it. So in our life also, see, things will happen. Any human being who is born, he is not other than a Brahmagnani. Everybody comes with prarabdha, which inflicts variety of unexpected troubles, problems. Definitely, the bereavements will be there, humiliations will be there, worst of that. Losses will be there of the money and all. Health crisis will come, legal problems will come. Financial problem, everybody will go through. You just observe this big people of the nation, big in terms of publicity. The politician, the sports persons, the film industry, anybody. Don't you see the ups and downs in their life? देखो. You can see that person, 3-in-1 brand now in the jail. He was in sports, then into the Nataka over the TV and all, and later on now politics. Now he can't even food there in that jail. Such a miserable condition with all the diseases. शोक तो सबको होता है, रिमेम्बर. शोक कारण होता है, शोक ही नहीं होना. That is by choice. So arrival of misery is not in our hands. To become miserable or not is in our hands. Sometimes to become miserable also you cannot have control. But how long you continue, how quickly we come out, that decides how wise, intelligent, and hardworking we are and how otherwise we are. Neither go on extending shoka for long time nor keep on remembering them. हो गया तो हो गया. The two things remember, with whatever the dirtiest bad things we have done in the past, that brought us this situation of shoka. So through this situation, we are only clearing all of that. Secondly, we have to aim at our glorious future. For that, we have to keep on working. If we only are always in the shoka grasta sthiti, then we'll never be in the inspired mood to use all the opportunities, abilities to excel in our life. That's what Gurudev says. Fall, you must, because you can't be. But falling is never a problem. Not rising is a problem. And rise like a rubber ball, not like a fall like a rubber ball, not like a stone. When it falls, the stone it gets stuck up only onto the earth. But the rubber ball it jumps with the double speed. That's all. And you can see the great poets, the great philosophers, great achievers, all of them, from that shoka situation only, they took that situation as a springboard and they loftily flew in the sky high to help themselves and to the world around at large. Any example you take, the all great poets, all philosophers are the shokagrasta. The Socrates se lekar ke, all the people whom you take, from that they learned, like Tulsidas. Shoka, wife has humiliated Valmiki Shoka. He was in that only. But when this rishis told him, he became saint. सही यूज किया उस सिचुएशन से हम ऐसे लाइक अर्जुन ही यूटिलाइज दैट सिचुएशन सरेंडर टू द लॉर्ड लर्न गीता फॉर होल लाइफ नॉट ओनली फॉर हिमसेल्फ बट ही बिकेम काज फॉर द गीता's अराइवल फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस. So what is the point from now onwards? Situations will prompt us to become shoki, but how less time we are in that shoka, how we are bouncing back from that shoka sthiti by our efforts to reach to the higher situation. Neither we should justify them, nor we should commit the mistakes because of which such shokas came to us, nor we should continue in that shoka mood. नेवर इन दैट हिंदी सॉन्ग ऑफ अब जी के क्या करें जब शोक हो गया दिल टूट गया. सो दैट इज दुर्गुण ऑफ द तमोगुण. शोक नहीं आना चाहिए. थिंक फॉर योर सेल्फ एंड विद दैट शोक trying to seek the sympathy of people, once or twice they do it, later on they don't even come near to us. This fellow always shares his sorrows, better don't go to him. नहीं है तो है, चालू कर रहे हैं उसको, उसमें क्या है. And all your punya goes away when you share your shoka unnecessarily with others. Then, as I said yesterday, if you remember, then some people say that share the misery, it becomes half, share the happiness, it becomes double. Share the happiness, it becomes double, is agreed. But share the misery, it becomes half, is a lower level of life. In the beginning, it is said, for the one who cannot with his purushartha, come out of it. But you should not practice a thing After certain time, when you have to rise to the next level, अपना दुख दूसरों से शेयर करो, इस शुरुआत में और कभी कभी बताई जाने वाली बात. Not that throughout life you go on seeking sympathy by sharing. No, you have to rise to the next level wherein nobody in the world should feel that you have a shock. You are solving it within yourself. You are going through with it. That's what I am saying. Lord Krishna, Puja Gurudev, how many problems they had throughout life? But it's not that they tell everybody and feel shokagrasta and seek sympathy. I thought, hey, bhai, we are trying ourselves. Yeah, this is about shoka, the tamoguna. Then comes moha. Moha is what? A stubbornness of taking the wrong as right and not wanting to listen to others, therefore not wanting to change. That is called as moha. राग द्वेष आदि दुष्ट आसक्तियों में फंसे रहना और विथ देम जितने भी किक्स मिल रहे हैं फिर भी न सोचना न समझना न बाहर आना, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज मोह. Any problem happens second time is called as moha. Any problem comes once, no? While solving that problem, we should know why that problem came. That cause we should avoid. That's called sattva guna. If instead of avoiding the cause, knowingly or unknowingly, deliberately, if that cause is again conducted, leading to the same dukkha of earlier time, that is called as moha. Understood? Anything that matter. When I have taken cold water, it led to all the sardi. Second time if it happens, that second time is become moha. पहली बार से तुमको अकल आना चाहिए कि नहीं. Therefore, you must know how much cold your system can tolerate. Accordingly, ठंडा पीना है तो to your जिह्वा थोड़ा अच्छा ठंडा लगना चाहिए. Therefore, 1/4 you add the fridge water, 3/4 you add the normal water. Then feel the touch of freedom from garmi. That much your body can tolerate. More cold directly you take, throat choking, सब हो रहा है. How can you do that? Is it not? So to eating oily food or pungent food. When you eat that, so much of indigestion, all acidity happens. Once you learn from it, then next time you have to be careful about not to allow that to happen. If it is every day is happening, means how much bewakuf we are. That is called moha. So you understand? You say to somebody, try to be friendly. If that person is not reciprocating, you just drop that person. Again and again, piche padna, that is number one, bevakufi, murkhata, moha. That's how we are all victims of. See, I am good, I am noble. Anybody comes to me, let them get the benefit of my goodness and nobility. If I am confident on that, let it be good. Why should I impose my goodness, nobility on others when others not receiving? And again doing that, this is called moha. Means even in a wise person, these type of mohas come which make him suffer. That's called as moha at that time. वही गलती बार बार करना मोह, नहीं समझना, उससे बाहर नहीं आना. We get blindfolded by that. And the opposite of the moha, the highest good quality, sattva gun wala kya hai? Seeing the sufferings of others, understanding the cause for their suffering, not allowing that cause to happen in us. This is called the highest wisdom. And what is the lowest level of the moha? My own self, I am committing mistakes again and again and going through same suffering and never wanting to come out of it. That is moha. This is, I'm talking the lower level of moha. Higher moha is what? Throughout life living like a animal only with artha and kama, never ever thinking about the possibility of the higher purushartha. That is called spiritual moha. That's what pasyan apicha na pashyati moodha. That moodha is moha. Udara nimittam bahukruta, as it is said there. Is it not? And at a higher spiritual level, moha, which is not so negatively we have to take about, but we have to come out of it. But listening all Upanishads, still not clearly understanding that to discover myself is the only way to moksha. Clear? That also is moha. But that is not moha like doing papa again and again. Here you need repeated study so that the conviction starts happening. मोह मोह से ही पंचकोश तादात्म्य मोह कारण ही जीव भाव मोह कारण ही taking the world as real. Continuously world is changing, still you don't want the world to change. Continually we see the people dying, still we think we don't die. These are all signs of moha only. And self delusion also is there. We become old and still act like young by doing all makeup जून कब दिस सबसे बड़ा बेवकूफ़ी है मोह है ये. By changing or putting makeup, will anybody become young? बताओ. But whom are we deluding, cheating? हाँ स्वामी ऐसी बात नहीं है वो शादी में जा रहे हैं तुम्हारा शादी है क्या नहीं तो एक डिसेंट ड्रेस पहन के जाओ हु सेज नॉट बिकॉज इट इज नॉट ए inauspicious program of chauta uthala you are going for marriage so you look decently but that doesn't mean that you try to cheat yourself in this way anywhere moha. So, intellectual moha is equal to non understanding of what is truth or untruth or right or unright. The psychological moha is never not able to come out of the negative emotions of raga, dvesha, etc. The physical moha is not understanding that the body is given for the higher and greater purposes. Let me use it for that. This is how we are deluded. मोह का अर्थ क्या है ना एक जगह आप जाना चाह रहे हो लेकिन रास्ता नहीं पता फिर गलत रास्ते में जाते ही रहो जाते रहो जाते रहो दैट इज मोह. And the second part is what suddenly after going some distance either you got a doubt or you saw a board or you asked somebody they said भाई आपको वहां जाना है तो ये रास्ता नहीं है उधर जाना है. Even after listening from other fellow okay the destination is that side still if you go this side you know how laughable is that. In that way we are in moha. अर्थ काम से दुखी होते हुए भी उसको नहीं छोड़ना. धर्म मोक्ष पुरुषार्थ में मुक्ति है जानते हुए भी उसके लिए नहीं जाना. दैट इज गॉड एज द इंटेलेक्चुअल और स्पिरिचुअल मोह. एंड एट द लोअर लेवल शत्रु को मित्र मित्र को शत्रु मानना. दिस आर ऑल मोह. वेदर इट इज पीपल वेदर इज अ फूड ऑल दैट मोह. Everywhere 9:30 by night we have to sleep. Beyond that not sleeping is moha. 4:15 you have to get up. Beyond that if you sleep again it is moha. Like that the confusion the delusion the taking the wrong as right right as wrong is moha. Means moha. Moha means vaichittye means chitta viparitata. Seeing that which is not there seeing not which is there. And in the entire Vedanta talks about this only. The moha in other words called as Bhranti. So Rajju Sarpa Bhranti is Rajju Sarpa Moha. Sthano Purusha Moha. Then that Mrugatrishnika and Vari Moha. Guru is the one who binds me, and the wonderful, lovely friends of me all around are the ones who give me liberation by giving me all the sukha. This is double decker moha. इधर भी उधर भी. मुक्ति देने वाले गुरु को शत्रु मानना बंधन में डालने लोगों को मित्र मानना. I'm not saying don't have mitra, but any mitra, if he's only pulling you toward the worldliness, then it is, please understand. So, in this way, klamaha, kalihi, shoka, moha, then comes vishad. The next level of fall, after that, shoka is called as vishad. In a feeling of tragedy, vishada in English you can translate it as crisis or tragedy which is irreversible. That's why the first chapter of Gita is Vishada, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. He felt into that Vishada that it cannot be reversed, that situation. Vishada, very high level of dejection. The next step to Vishada is only one thing: committing suicide. In that Vishada level, the entire self confidence goes, self belief goes away, belief on anything and everything goes away, and belief in Paramatma goes away, belief in efforts go away, belief in the goodness goes away. Is in such a Vishada कि हम क्या बताएं अभी, नहीं जी सकते. Arjuna was in that, therefore he was suicidal. He said, I'll commit suicide only. The 46th verse of first chapter of Gita, where he says, Yadi mam pratikaram ashastram shastrapaneha dhartarashtraha ranehanyu tat me kshemataram bhavet. I am not going to lift bow and arrow. And to such me, when the Dhritarashtra Putras lift with bow and arrow and kill me, I believe that is better to me than myself fighting with my gurus and all, or my own friends, relatives who are there. That is suicidal. That much Vishada he allowed to creep in his heart without even one arrow being shot. A person in the highly tragic moment also can balance himself to try to come out of it. A person in the most beautiful situation also can feel tragedy. Like Gurudev says, life is a comedy to those who think and understand and implement, and life is a tragedy to those who feel and feel and feel without doing anything. The tragic feeling is called Vishad. The gloomy thing, Vishad. And that helicopter crashed yesterday with 22 people, Vishad. When yesterday, every day the big collisions, accidents are happening and dead bodies are fallen here and there, Vishad. And that fellow is shot dead yesterday in Punjab. And the body, when it was removed, it was so frightening. It was pulled down and all. Vishad. The Ukraine situation, if you see Vishad, that terrible thing last 2 years we were feeling. Hundreds, thousands dying every day out of corona. Vishad. Situation I am telling how it looks like. That feeling we should have to have in our heart. See, this world is run by the Lord. Lord is all powerful and all compassion. And wherever He is giving tragedy or Vishada, there alone He is showing you some ray of light or hope. That we have to recognize it. Arjuna discovered it. That he was in such a tragedy, yet he discovered the presence of Krishna and he surrendered to him. His training, which he got throughout the life of saluting elders and getting guidance from them, has helped him here to come out of that Vishada by surrendering to the Lord, who by his teaching converted Arjuna's mind from Vishada to the Prasada. Now remember, Vishada also happened before Yuddha. Prasada also happened before Yuddha. Vishada was with ignorance, Prasada with Gita Jnana. With the Prasanna Mana, you do Yuddha or don't you Yuddha, you win or lose, you are alive or dead, doesn't matter. With the Prasanna Mana, confident heart. With Vishada, you are already killed. जो बंदा विषाद में है तो वो मरेला है, इज इक्वल टू डेड पर्सन ओनली. So Vishad. Situation come as I am telling you. Worse than the shoka is Vishad Sthiti. When a high, physical problems when they come. Suddenly, अच्छी तरह से घूमने फिरने वाले को सडनली और रिकॉग्नाइज हो गया कैंसर है या किडनी फेल हो गया. सडनली द ब्रेन हैमरेज हो गया. He entered into comal paralytic attack. That's a विषाद. और किसके नसीब में क्या लिखा है वो होने तक किसी को नहीं पता. Prepare in advance. If anything to happen, happen. So what? Some papa is done, it is exhausting. That's it. Smile away. Bechare, when you go to these big hospitals or any hospital, into the ICU ward, you see people with different, almost dying situation. When you look at their eyes, the tears coming and all. कि हमारा जिंदगी ऐसा हो गया रे. विषाद. If you can feel confidence in them, before that we should be confident. So situation jaisa bhi ho, I am not going to lose my hope or heart. So what? You know, the army people in the war, when they lose their limbs, hands, legs, हो जाते हैं युद्ध में. तो क्या मैं देश के लिए किया हूं मैं? They don't enter into that vishad. Oh, we have to learn from them. Army are the best example not to enter into vishada mode. मैम अपने देश के लिए किया है. Oh, that time of independence, 1930s to 48 tak. Everyone were ready for themselves to go for fighting war and also to send their children and all. See that story of that mother. 12 of her children were killed by those enemies in the Yuddha, freedom fighting. Then she cried when the last 12th child died. Others asked her, "Ki, how much you love that small child?" Every mother has love for the smaller child. You never cried for the 11 of them. She said, I'm not crying for this 12 fellow. I'm crying that I am not having my 13th son also to send to the war field to protect my country. See that glorious thing. Arjun, Hanuman ji, he was tied with Brahmastra and he was tied with the ropes. He was then pulled alongside the road. घसीटते हुए ले गए उनको. He was beaten with variety of the stones or hunters, kicked also. But Rama Karya was in his mind. Later on, his पूंछ was burnt. हमारा पूंछ जलाए तो आप क्या बोलोगे बताओ? I asked this question one day. That one fellow got up, Swamiji, I will never become miserable, he said. Everybody laughed. He never understood why they laughed. I hope you understood. So, no Vishal. Today we will see in Valmiki Ramayana. Lakshmana is in Vishal, but he has to fulfill his duty. He did that. Sita ji, for some time she is Vishada, then she decides, this is how some lives. याद रखना कुछ लोगों का ना लाइफ लॉन्ग किस्मत होता ही रहता है. सम लोगों का ना किस्मत किस भी नहीं करता, उनको किक करता ही रहता है थ्रू आउट लाइफ. Which category we are, we don't know. In both cases, we have luckily our mana buddhi to balance in all the situations, odd situation, and try to do the best. That's it. You can see all these small ants, etc. When they fall in water, they know they'll die, but they try their best to come out. That is what it is. None of the animals, when they're trapped, you see that they give up and die. The only human being who gives up without even doing anything. They try their best to come out. Because they think we can try our best to come out. They do it. Some of them really escape. You see some of those animals in the Animal Planet channel and all, caught by the tiger, but they struggle and they run. कुछ करके ये जो मगरमच्छ ने पकड़ा किसी को, वो इतना उससे लड़ाई झगड़ करके बचाया अपने आप को. How wonderful, no? You have to see those dogs, etc. उनका पाँव टूटता है because of accident, but still they continue their life. So what? 3 पाँव है चलने को. Never allow any shock, avishad, or to overpower mind. Tamo guna. Nothing should break our heart, shake our heart. Everything should make our heart. विषाद तमो गुण. और कुछ भी नहीं हुआ विषाद में चले गए. ये और एक नौटंकी है. Some other cartoons and jokers of this type. For a very smiling mood, suddenly they entered विषाद ऐसे सब कुछ खत्म हो गया. So much विषाद, दुख. And you ask her, what happened to you? मैंने मेरा बड़ा वाला नाखून बढ़ाया था शूर्पणखा की तरह, और मैं वो आटा गूंद रही थी आटा और वो टूट गया वो. शी इज विषाद with that one नाखून gone. खून बह भी जाए रोना नहीं, बट ये नाखून से रो रही है, अब क्या होता है उनको? एवरीथिंग इज शोक, एवरीथिंग विषाद फॉर ए तमोगुणी बेवकूफ. Come out of that. And how will it happen? Only one way. We are human with the best of the opportunity given. We have the highest ambition or noblest goal of knowing the truth. If not that, at least becoming devotee of God. If not that, at least to contribute and serve to the Lord. When the higher and greater goals are there, then all these things will not bother us much. Those who don't have these higher goals, they only are fall prey and victim to all their senses and all, and then these can never give satisfaction. There are more hindrances at every step in the bhoga marga also, that makes them always vishada yukta. Remember, never justify shoka vishad, and stop all those cinemas and गाने जिसमें दर्द भरे नगमे में. अब कम है क्या अपने दर्द आपके? इंस्पिरेशन वाले श्लोक स्तोत्र पढ़ना है हमको. जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनी रम्य कवर्दिनी शैलसुते. These type of things you have to read. Is it not? Remember when we are in Shoka Vishada, not only all our abilities, talents get blocked, but others also when they want to help, we will be in a situation not to take their help. That's the problem with Vishada. भयंकरम. जिंदगी के मजा कब है? When we ourselves are standing strong and doing our best and are able to help others to come out of their shock and vishad. Mm-hmm. Vishad. See, Sita ji's vishad. Everybody in his life, they go through it, Baba. So vishad. And the next one is called Arti. Arti is the instantaneous, terrible, unbearable dukkha. सो शोक से भयंकर विषाद होता है, विषाद से भयंकर आरती. ओनली एक्सप्लेनेशन फॉर द आरती इज गरम गरम तेल गिरा शरीर पे. इट इज नॉट दैट टुमारो डे आफ्टर इट विल पेन. इट विल पेन एट दैट वेरी मोमेंट सो मच. दैट दुख इज कॉल्ड एज आरती. The dukkha is felt by the mind because of something happened to the body, and I identify with the body through the mind. Therefore, the burning of the body is my burning, so I suffer. I'm not explaining this process. I'm telling the example for what it looks like the arti means. The Draupadi is in arti, the Prahlada is in arti, the Gajendra is in arti. When the crocodile was pulling him into waters, is an arti. Very, very terrible situation. Even Vishad se bhi niche wala. And Bhagwan, if he is putting that in Tamo Guna, and the situation come to our life, what is the meaning therefore is what? When even that situation comes, still you can stand strong. क्या करें? See the Janma Marana in between all situations. Any situation comes, everything is by destiny happening, and in and through everything, with our Purushartha, something or the other we can do better. Focusing on that is called as sadhana or wisdom. Giving up the hope and feeling so low is called tamoguna. In this dukkha, vishada, and arti are felt. Arti also meaning is what? Some money is lost. Feeling that everything is lost. That sort of thing is arti. अरे प्राण भी जाए नहीं रोना ये कह रहे हैं तो थोड़ा शेयर बाजार डाउन हो गया then you stop eating. That's arti. Not only vishada but next level he gets, some of them get strokes also. कैसा हो गया रे करके आरती. In some situation, there was a 10th or 12th class child. देखा रिजल्ट मर गया, मतलब फेल हो गया, सोच के कमिटेड सुसाइड. आरती फेल्ट हाउ कैन. लेटर ऑन इट इज चेक्ड ही केम फर्स्ट क्लास ओनली. वो मर गया, बाकी लोगों ने चेक किया उसको, गलत देखा उसने नंबर. उन दिनों में ऐसे पेपर में, न्यूज़पेपर में आता था, ऑन द डे ऑफ रिजल्ट डिक्लेरेशन, सुबह 4-5 बजे उठकर हम तैयार होते थे, रात में छपकर सुबह न्यूज़पेपर में आता था 7th क्लास 10th क्लास रिजल्ट्स. No computer, no online, no those days. Then we see the serial number 3056 scene. Then 729 is the number 3056 723 724. Then first we see in the third class. There are the four levels. The fourth one is called as कंपार्टमेंटल में एक होता था ग्रेस मार्क से पास करने वाला कंपार्टमेंटल ग्रेस मार्क थर्ड डिवीजन सेकंड डिवीजन फर्स्ट डिवीजन इनमें कंपार्टमेंटल तो है ही नहीं फर्स्ट टाइम अटेम्प्ट कर रहे हैं तो वी सी आवर 3729 नंबर इन द थर्ड ग्रेड नहीं रहा देयर इज अ होप एज अ वरी सेकंड में भी देखा उसमें भी नहीं है फर्स्ट में देखा तो ट्रेजेडी those who are each one according to their nature. Those are very confident, they see the third first, second then. Those are low confident, first they see the first grade. नहीं आया उनको कुछ आशा होता है कम से कम सेकंड में होगा एंड इट इज देयर ठीक है यार फेल होने से बजाय तुम सेकंड तो आ गए सम ऑफ देम कम इन द थर्ड आई एम टेलिंग अबाउट विषाद आरती देयर आरती is felt when or very close ones they die that type of आरती you cry for some time pray for them you can't stop the things anyway these are all tamoguna shokamoho vishadarthi okay then he says next one our close friend nidra Appa. If one this nidra is not conquered na with all abilities opportunities we will reach nowhere nidra excessive nidra ट्रिक है खाने में निद्रा में भोग में क्या ट्रिक होता पता है फॉर सम टाइम वेरी फोर्सफुली इट अटैक्स लाइक ए तूफान एंड ऑल ऑफ अस थिंक दैट we have to involve and indulge in them only but if that ability to withstand for that some time we get then slowly it gets reduced you can conquer understand another thing is what लाइक निद्रा की बात इतना घमासान आता है कि मैं बिना सोए नहीं रह सकता हूँ इसे सो ही जाते आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एग्जांपल्स एक्सप्लेनेशन आई एम नॉट कंक्लूडिंगली टेलिंग एनीथिंग बट इफ समवन गोज एंड वॉशेस हिज फेस 15-20 minutes at least he can avoid nidra and do that work this is one way of conquering nidra immediately sleeping gone another way is what if the nidra is attacking so much that you are not able to defeat it sleep but not for 12 hours within 1 hour or half an hour get up and do sadhana this is how many tricks are there to conquer the excessive nidra and use the time for sadhana each one can discover his own techniques it works all of them work we're not saying don't sleep at all then all sleep those problems diseases will come but excessive nidra and bhojanam and nidra tiredness of the body mind and nidra they have close relation excessive bhojanam wrong bhojanam leads to too much of nidra bhoga with indriya smana takes you to nidra gets you tired but any inspiring activity will not make you sleep therefore keep inspired all the time you can conquer nidra bhojana also we have to be very careful less food हमेशा भूखा रहना बस फुल स्टॉप that they say no eat breakfast like a king and lunch like something they say middleman dinner like a beggar only pauper they say very good it is if my capacity to eat a 5 chapati if I can stop at 2 I have conquered the sleep that's the relation between food and sleep so much this topic can be discussed for hours together but this much we know excessive nidra becomes a habit not sleeping insomnia also is not right you should exactly ideally they say night 5 to 6 hours healthy yogi type 4 hours enough little physical laborers they sleep 8 hours 7.5 8 they by 8 o'clock they switch off by morning again 4 they are up मॉर्निंग 4 से उठकर सब खेती के लिए सब तैयारियां करके 6 बजे निकलते हैं. Till evening 6 they work. Afternoon little nap if they are too tired, depending on that day's physical work. Is it not? Nidra is tamoguna. Required nidra. बिना निद्रा का नहीं चलता. But excessive thing. And all of them are habits only. Excessive sleep, postponing of the works, laziness, विषादा आरती शोक, ये सारे खुद बनाए हुए आदतें हैं. देखो इसको निकाल कर पॉजिटिव बनाना भी अपने हाथ में. अगेन प्रमाण टू अस इज अवर गुरुदेव. और how 11:30 is sleeping night, 3 o'clock is up. 4 घंटे बस. दाई चार. Afternoon maybe half an hour nap if at all. Otherwise on the work. And all these tamagunas slowly we have to conquer. Never overdo. अपने औकात समझकर धीरे धीरे ही करना चाहिए. Keep the goal in mind. Inspire from the goal and keep on doing little till that goal is achieved. So the goal of conquering Nidra Tamoguna is any time should be able to sleep in any situation. Any time we should be able to wake up. And now you can say, समझे 50% हो गया. जब चाहे तब सोता हूँ मैं, बाकी नहीं हो रहा मेरे से. Sleep. Mahatma Gandhi had this ability. In the so much disturbed situation, he will sleep for 15 minutes and he's fresh. Swami Vivekananda has got this power. Because of the prakriti or because of the actions done around, so much tiredness, exhaustion, withdraws into the deep sleep 15 minutes so beautifully that all the refreshing happens. Again, back to the activeness. There's so many people you can see. The drivers also, yogi type drivers. लारी चलाना इतना नींद आती, साइड पे पार करके 1 घंटा सो गए, अगेन 16 hours they drive. So understand the whole subject clearly. Then nidra, then asha. Well, asha is what? Vain hopes. In those vain hopes, one thing is what? Not putting effort at all, but expecting. This is one type of asha. Second is what? Not wanting to accept that it is impossible. That's what asha. Like a youngster. The wrong quality of asha in youngster is not wanting to put effort, but you want to excel in his study and job. That is wrong asha in him. You work out and fulfill it. But कोई आएंगे कुछ करेंगे कुछ हो जाएगा लेकिन मैं कुछ नहीं करूँगा. That is asha. And then the negative quality of asha in the old man is what? They think they will become young. They will become healthy. This is no chance. Once you cross 65, 60, back going nahi hota hai. You cannot have asha to become what we were in the past. You should only count the days and doing so, maximum use karna hai apne time ko. That is what. Just an example I give. Vain hope as well as not working but expecting. Asha. And anybody creates the asha in you saying that even on spiritual front कि तुम कुछ मत करो भगवान सब करेंगे, never believe him. Have a goal, inspired by that goal, keep on working. Don't just get carried away. भगवान पागल थोड़ी है कि कुछ भी करो मत वो कुछ वो दे देंगे. He himself is working hard to maintain the world. How can he allow us to be lazy? Never ever imagine that without doing anything, prayer से सब कुछ होता है. That thing where prayer से सब कुछ होता है demands that highest level of surrender. And surrender demands working hard at the lower level according to what Lord expects from us. सब करके सरेंडर होता है, नहीं करना सरेंडर नहीं होता. युद्धस्व विगत ज्वरा माम अनुस्मरा युद्धच्च means what? You remember me and get inspired by the goal and then work your own thing. Then wait for me to give you results. For us, especially the spiritual seekers who study the Bhakti Shastras little extensively, they think हम भगवान के सामने obligation लगाएंगे और सब कुछ कर देंगे. नहीं होता ऐसा. Never ever yield to the type of tamoguna of the non-activity. You have to work. It is our life. We have to make it beautiful, etc. Okay, Asha. Then bhi, the fear of future, fear of death, fear of what will happen to me, etc. ये थोड़ा बड़ा बात है, इसका वेरी एग्जॉस्टिवली पढ़ना है. Just like that, it won't sufficient. We'll discuss about this. How the Bhi Bhayarahitya is said to be the first Daivi Guna. Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi. Bhi. The one who is so much identified with Deha, he will have more Bhayam. So too, the one who has got lot of attachment to the things and beings, he will have more Bhayam. The one who transcends all these things, there is no Bhayam. That is why Atma Anubhava Sthiti, where death, deception, all of them are not possible, also is called as Nirbhaya Sthiti, Bhayarahita. You know? Yesterday only we chanted in Taitya Abhaya Pratishtam Vindate Tato Bhayangato Bhavati Yata hi eva Udaramantaram Kurute Ata Tasya Bhayam Bhavati Tatvevna Bhayam Vidusho Manvanasya. In Taittiriya Upanishad, we will be told about Abhaya Pratishta. It is said that the Brahmagnani or Brahma Tattva is such one, उसको देखकर सूर्य चंद्र वगैरह ये डरते हैं. मृत्यु देखकर जिसको सब डरते हैं, वो मृत्यु भी भगवान के सामने डरते हैं. And that Bhagavan is Parabrahma, and that is we. So Abhayaha, and last one is Anudyamaha, non-performance. These two little bit are there. We will touch them tomorrow. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Don't feel bad if any of the tamogunas which you are having, they have not come in the list. You can also add them. Om.